I never thought I'd be the kind of person to do something so dramatic. The kind of thing you'd see in a movie. Someone standing in the doorway, staring at a piece of their past before finally letting it go. But there I was, holding the wedding picture in my hands, the frame slightly bent from years of shifting it from one place to another. It should have meant something. It used to mean something. But now? It was just a reminder of the worst mistake of my life. I took a deep breath, staring at the smiling faces in the photograph. Him in his tuxedo, me in my gown. Back then, I thought it was the happiest day of my life. Looking back, I realize it was the start of something I should have run from. It wasn't always bad. Of course it wasn't. If it had been, I wouldn't have stayed as long as I did. It started with small things, passive-aggressive remarks, moments of silence that stretched too long, jokes at my expense that I tried to laugh off. But then the small things became bigger, and bigger, and bigger, until I felt like I was drowning. The wedding dress, the suit, was next. It had been sitting in my closet for years, wrapped in plastic, as if preserving it would somehow preserve the illusion that the marriage had been worth it. But illusions don't last, and I was done pretending. I dropped the picture into the trash can, no hesitation this time. Then I grabbed the suit and drove straight to the donation center. So we can find out.
I met her when I was 24. I was young, stupid, and full of hope. She was charming, witty, and had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. When she laughed, it was like the whole world laughed with her. I fell hard. At first, things were perfect. She'd leave me little notes in my lunch, text me good morning and good night. She knew how to make me feel special, and I was convinced she was my soulmate. Everyone loved her. My friends, my family. I should have seen the red flags. I remember the first time she made me feel small. It was over something stupid, like forgetting to take the trash out. She made a joke about how I couldn't even handle basic responsibilities. And when I looked hurt, she laughed and said, "I'm just messing with you. Don't be so sensitive." It started happening more often. She'd criticize the way I dressed, the way I talked, the way I handled my career. If I ever got a compliment from someone else, she'd roll her eyes and mutter something about how people didn't really know me. But I loved her, so I stayed.
The wedding. Our wedding day should have been a red flag in itself. She was distant the whole time, acting like it was an inconvenience rather than a celebration. She barely looked at me during the vows, barely squeezed my hand during the first dance. At one point, I remember sitting alone at our own reception, while she laughed with her friends across the room. My best man, let's call him Jake, pulled me aside and said, "Man, are you sure about this?" I laughed it off, told him I was just nervous. I should have listened to him. The marriage. The first year was okay. Not great, but okay. I told myself all couples go through rough patches. But by the second year, I stopped making excuses. She was never home. When she was always on our phone, scrolling through social media, texting people I didn't know. If I asked her about it, she'd get defensive. "Why are you so insecure?" She'd snap. I started doubting myself. Was I insecure? Was I being controlling? Then came the fights, the screaming matches over the dumbest things. If I said something she didn't like, she'd shut down, refuse to talk to me for days. If I tried to fix things, she'd roll her eyes and tell me to stop being so clingy. One night, she stayed out until 3 a.m., didn't bother to tell me where she was. When I asked, she laughed. "God, you're so needy. Do I need to check in with you every second of my life?" That was the night I knew. I wasn't her partner. I was just there. The breaking point. The final straw wasn't some big betrayal. It wasn't even something dramatic. It was a Tuesday. I had cooked dinner. Nothing fancy, just something simple. Pasta, garlic bread, a salad. I waited for her to come home. When she finally did, she barely glanced at the table before saying, "I already ate." Then she walked past me and into the bedroom, slamming the door shut. I sat there for a long time, staring at the food I had made for someone who didn't care. And for the first time in years, I let myself ask the question I had been avoiding. Why am I still here? The escape I didn't leave right away. It took months of planning. I needed to find a place, save up money, make sure I had everything in order. But once I made the decision, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Relief. When I finally told her I was leaving, she barely reacted, just shrugged and said, "Okay, do what you want." No fight, no tears, nothing. I packed my things, left the ring on the counter, walked out the door and never looked back. Now standing there,
looking at the trash can filled with the last remnants of that life. I expected to feel sadness, regret, anything, but all I felt was freedom. I walked back inside, closed the door behind me, and smiled. For the first time in years, I was finally free. And yet, there are still nights when I find myself staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. Nights where my mind drifts back, and I start asking questions I know I'll never get answers to. Did she ever love me? Why did she marry me? Was it convenience? A phase? A game she got bored of? Or did she love me once but simply stopped? I don't know. And maybe I never will. But I do know one thing, whatever the answer is, it doesn't matter anymore. Because I'm done searching for it.